Yeah, Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, New South Wales, Australia. So you've been invited into the cult, you've been welcomed with open arms, everybody's making you feel accepted, and that's nice of them to do that. But what the problem is, once you start going into the teachings, you're going to start asking questions. Now, what I found with the elders down at the park here, when they used to give me the time to study with me, they'd always say, well, it's 100% right. But what they didn't realise was I had the ability to go and research on the internet and very swiftly work out that it wasn't right. There's so much information on the internet now for people to critically research. If you're still deceived, then I think it's a matter of choice. I think deception today is a matter of choosing to be or choosing not to be. And what you'll find is, and this is where loyalty and faithfulness can blind you, is the fact that you might not want to upset someone, you might not have the courage to ask questions that are going to help you to find the critical answers. But usually what it is you're trying to stay in your position that you've been given in terms of your acceptance. When somebody feels accepted, it's very hard to for them to let go of that, because this acceptance is something that we all integrally need. And this is what these cults do. They make you feel accepted, then they begin to win your loyalty and your faithfulness, and then they begin to blind you by your loyalty and faithfulness. In other words, you'll have alarm bells going off, but you will not be responding to them because your acceptance and your loyalty and faithfulness is holding you in, which are natural progressions when you come into one of these places. But what will happen is, if you persist in asking questions, again, their tolerance will begin to deteriorate. If you ask the same questions because you're not satisfied with the answers that you've been given, then the tolerance of these leaders will begin to deteriorate, and you'll find that the attention that you initially started to receive will begin to fade off. Now, you'll still get the pat on the back as you come through the door and the big hello, but there'll be now an awareness that this person's not responding as well as they would or should have been, because that they're not satisfied with the answers that we're giving them. But again, the fact that you'll still want to be accepted and be a part of the group will hold you in. Once you start to get deliberate in your search for answers, and this becomes apparent to the people that are leading the organisation, very quickly and very swiftly you'll find that there'll be no progression within the organisation for you. You'll be left just sitting in the group. You'll be, they'll use you to come to keep the numbers up, to come to the home groups, to come to the, this and that. But as far as progression within that group, there'll be none for you. Now, if you persist even further, then you'll find that you'll be pushed to the back further and further. And this is your opportunity to say to yourself, well, what is actually going on here now? With the Jehovah's Witnesses, one of the big problems the organisation has in terms of theological abuse is they do not relent from their false doctrines. And it's very interesting to find that they don't do that when it's so obviously clear that they're wrong. With the organisation and the apparent millions of people in it, I think they could change their doctrines and come out scathed, but still be able to salvage something out of what they have and be able to build on that. But they're not brave enough to be able to do that, and they're too bent on keeping their doctrines. What we have found is that when people are deceived, they believe, they truly and honestly, some people honestly and actually don't realise that they're deceived. So they give their whole life to these beliefs, and they're genuinely and honestly deceived. They believe these lies. They think they're true. They think they're right. And it's very hard to help somebody out of a place where they think what they're believing is right when it's actually wrong. So you've come to this place now where you're starting to believe that things are wrong. For instance, you are not getting the attention that you originally received, and you're starting to put that together with the fact that your questions aren't being answered. You feel like you're being withdrawn from, dejected. But it's very, very subtle, and you're just picking up on it. You're starting to realize that the answers aren't what they should be, and that the leaders are choosing to follow lies, and you're cottoning onto this. And now you're in a position where you may have brought family members in or something like this, but they're not catching on the way you are, and you're frightened that if you make a decision to confront the issue at a point where it could come to a head, that it's going to cost you more than you originally realised. Now, I said at the start of these talks that you'll come in, and if you're not meeting expectations, or even if you are, they're going to go past you and try and get your family in. They're going to use you to get your family in, because it's a numbers game. So if you've gotten the stage where you brought your family in and you're starting to wake up all of a sudden, and they're actually got friends, some new friends, and they like them, and they're still in the loop and being influenced, and you need to come out, but they're not getting the gist of where you're at, you are in a position where and I hear this a lot on the XJW Jehovah's Witness videos, where you might be leaving your family behind. So you've come in with a whole and healthy family, probably, with the usual possible dysfunctions or whatnot, or maybe not. And now all of a sudden you're alarmed with yourself for bringing them into a place that now is going to cause division within your own family, because it's more important for the cult to have members, whether it divides families or not, than what it is to help people to understand what the truth really is. Because truth doesn't matter to a cult. They believe what their truth is, whether it's wrong or right. The problem for the cults are that the people from the outside looking in can see what their faults are, but they don't want to see them themselves. One of the big problems, for the Jehovah's Witnesses is that they're taught not to critically research. I've had a gentleman, PIMO, I don't know what a PIMO is, physically in, mentally out, messaging me and asking me what he should do, and it's so simple. This is all you got to do. You just, whatever subject you want to look up on within the Jehovah's Witnesses, anything you want to find. If you can't find it on Google or YouTube, then you're not going to find it at all. Everything you need to know is on YouTube and Google. So I'll round this off now. You've been shunned. You've still got family members in. There's many channels on YouTube where you can find out about shunning, and there's a lady that's got Stop the Shunning. Just found out that I think she's the wife or something of the ex-JW Analyzer, if I got that right. He's really good, that guy, and so she as well. So anything you want to find on Google or YouTube, just type it in and you'll find it, and you'll work your way to what the truth really is. These organisations that say they've got the truth, that's a warning sign straight up, because the truth's not easy to, well, it might be easy to find, but it's not easy to hold, because our sinful nature wants to work against the truth. This is Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, New South Wales, Australia. Bye for now.